And good afternoon. How is everyone doing? I hope that you all are doing okay today. As you come into the room, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, but please hit the like button and please share this video. Today, on this video, I wanted to talk about young prostitutes and or sex workers, is what they like to call them now, as if that makes it better, are going missing and being killed, actually. And children are still being abducted and forced to prostitute. This is something that they don't talk about because they want for you all to think that these children are just runaways that had a stroke of bad luck. Some children are runaways, but the majority of them are being snatched up, and when they're snatched up, they are forced into prostitution. That is something that they don't talk about, but this is something that I've always talked about. There have been quite a few cases in the Houston area where girls are there. There are a lot of young girls that are prostituting everywhere, but for some reason in the Houston area, it is seemed to be happening more and more, where young girls are going missing and being found dead. So I wanted to show this video, and then I'm going to talk about some things also, and how we need to be aware, because I keep saying I'm going to talk about it, and this would be the opportunity to do that, because I see now they're trying to promote um, prostitution. They're trying to change the name of it, to make it better. Sex workers. It ain't no damn better. It's be a prostitute, okay? And so you get a lot of these politicians that do that because they like young children, young girls, and they want to be the ones to buy them. That's what's going on. But I'm getting ahead of myself because I start getting angry when I think about a lot of what's going on. Here is one from out of Houston.
Continuing to emerge regarding a man now charged with murdering and dismembering a woman. This is after taking her to his West Houston apartment. Fox 26's Domly Keith joining us live with a warning for thousands of Houstonians. Domly.
Yeah, according to court records, Felicia Johnson and the man now charged with her murder, they agreed to meet up on Snapchat, and he was supposed to pay her $500. That's according to court records. Well, she hasn't been seen since, and tonight there is a warning for the thousands of Houstonians who work in the sex industry.
Anybody can become a victim of a villain.
That's the first point Precinct 1 Human Trafficking Victim Services Director Catherine Griffin wants to drive home. Let the murder of 24-year-old Felicia Johnson be a learning lesson, and don't think it can't happen to you.
It is so dangerous, and every media outlet should be screaming from the rooftops on how dangerous this is, and let stories like this be known.
Chukwuebuka Uwabado is now charged with murdering and dismembering Felicia Johnson after investigators say her blood was found in his apartment. Court documents show she was last seen April 16th leaving her hotel in an Uber paid for by Uwabado. On April 17th, investigators say he bought a handheld and a power saw, towels and trash bags, and according to court records, even as Uwabado searched the internet for things like can bleach destroy DNA and the most forested part of Houston, he also Googled Houston escorts. And there are tens of thousands here.
I would estimate and say anywhere from 70 to 80,000 sex industry workers daily.
That's a lot, just in Houston, Harris County.
Yes.
Griffin wants sex workers to do a few things to stay safe, such as don't meet at a client's home, but most of all, she wants you to know help getting out of this industry is available.
It's very vitally important that individuals know to reach out to us so that we can help.
Now, Precinct 1 can help with everything from treatment to therapy to housing and finding a job. We have contact information for them on our website. Felicia Johnson's body, by the way, still hasn't been found, and her accused killer is still on the run. Reporting live near downtown Houston, I'm Domly Keith, Fox 26 News.
Okay, so you see that what happened in that situation, and believe it or not, my company receives a lot of phone calls from families that seek to hire investigators, private investigators, to try and find their children. You know, the unfortunate thing about it is that private investigative work can be extremely expensive, especially when you're dealing with cases of this nature. It takes a lot of hours because oftentimes, when the girls are taken, you know, immediately, especially if they're already in the sex industry, that because they are already prostituting, that they probably just dead. So that's extremely unfortunate. There are programs, but they can only do so much. There are programs. You don't I think, and I'm not trying to talk down on the police department, but I just think that the police departments have been extremely passive as it relates to a lot of these young ladies that are out in the street, because a lot of them are on drugs. A lot of them come from bad homes, and they start prostituting because they're in survival mode, but and then they end up getting on drugs and things of that nature. And I think they are extremely passive. Oh, well, they're out in the street. There's no telling if they're prostituting. They could very well be in another state, and that's not so, because there are usually, when they're out in the street like that, they usually have some kind of camaraderie with other young ladies that are doing the exact same thing. And when they just go missing like that, it's because they have met, I guess, their demise with a bad John you know and so, like I said, I think to keep from having to investigate this, because it's so many, they're very passive and say, well, that person is 18, they could, very well be in another state. They give all of these excuses until a body is found, if a body is ever found, when the family knows, even with the history of that person that is out there doing things of that nature, they will hear from their child or their relative at some point. And it's starting to happen more and more. I want to show another. Well, it's been like that. Not more and more. Hell, it's been like this for a long damn time. People are starting to talk more about it, I guess, in the social media world. And it's good to talk about it, because one thing I do know from working for the police departments, you have to bring attention to things of this nature. When you start bringing attention and being proactive and productive and not acting a damn fool, you have to know how to organize. That is what gets people to moving, right? um Let me see. Here's another one. I'm just going to show one more, well, two more, but hold on. Here it
At
is.
4:30, we want folks to take a good look at this picture. Family and friends of 18-year-old Sarah Goodwin say they need your help.
She's been missing since last Sunday and was last seen getting in a vehicle in southwest Houston. Brittany Ford joins us live from the apartment complex on South Course Street, where search efforts were held today. Brittany, what can you tell us?
Well, Ron, family and friends say that Sarah's cell phone was found at this apartment complex shortly after she went missing. But take a look. This is the flyer that they were out passing in the neighborhood today in hopes for a lead.
She's 18 years old. She's missing. Her name is Sarah Goodwin. She's 5 foot 800 pounds.
Friends of 18-year-old Sarah Goodwin are hoping for answers.
It just hurts, the fact that she's just out here.
Alongside Houston activist Quanell X, those close to Sarah say she was taken against her own will.
You see that young 18-year-old girl try to exit the vehicle, and you can tell she wanted to get out of the vehicle, but she was forced to stay in.
Sarah's friends say they've had little to no help from investigators. This is surveillance video they were able to get from a nearby car dealership that shows Goodwin getting into what is believed to be a 2015 four-door gray Honda CR-V, a car they're looking to track down.
This same vehicle has been spotted cruising the area. even after Sarah's abduction.
Sarah's friends say she was involved in sex work.
She knows that everybody loves her and it can be difficult from one person that's lived a different lifestyle.
But say there's so much more to her than that.
She has a 15-year-old brother that she will die for and that she would, that she basically raises.
A daughter and a loving sister they're hoping to bring back home.
If you see this woman, can you call 911, please? Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
I just can't wait for her to be found and know that people actually thought about her.
That's extremely sad. And as I say, it is happening more and more, not just in Houston, but it seems to be happening in Houston more, but it's happening everywhere, right? Because you see it in every state. It's just happening a lot more frequently in Houston. And so that's why like I said, it has been happening for a very, very long time where these young ladies are going missing. You're starting to see more and more young ladies get into prostitution. And I think the sad thing about it is, I don't know. I know a lot of these young ladies come sometimes from bad homes. They end up getting on some type of a narcotic. It forces them into prostitution. But a lot of them come from bad homes and they're in survival mode. And then too, oftentimes what I've been seeing and what I've been seeing for a while, young ladies don't have anyone to look up to anymore. You have older women, because that was an 18-year-old young lady, this last one, that encouraged them to get out and sell their bodies. I have a subscriber named OG Elroy, and he said something that really rang a bell. That was really true. That people are crazy over money. Because it's nothing to get out. These kids are being told that they're lame at 18 years old if they go work at McDonald's. Go and make that quick money, and you have adults, sometimes relatives, that encourage them to do that. I'm not saying that is what has happened in this case, but it's happening in so many cases. They're being told that that's what God gave them that for, to go and sell, or they have some man in their life that encourages them because they have low self-esteem to go and sell their body, because they don't have anybody that has actually taught them about their self-worth. So things of this nature, it's been serious, but now it's starting to come out more, and it's got to stop. Where number one, where these young ladies feel like they need to sell their bodies because they have all this future in front of them. The only thing that they should be worried about is building a career or something for themselves, if got it in the right direction, because they're young, they're vibrant, they're beautiful. It's so much more in life for them. They shouldn't even have to be thinking about selling their bodies. They should be encouraged to get a job instead of being encouraged oftentimes to go left, because that is what is happening, right? That's why I say parents have to start watching their children more, or they got to get their nose up. They're going to have to look up and pull their nose back from the damn table, because they sniffing powder and stuff too, and smoking crack, a lot of them, and their children are just going awry. That is what is happening in a lot of cases. Now, another thing that I want to talk about, because I didn't want to make this video so long, because I could really get into stuff like that, is children being abducted. And what they're doing is they try to categorize children that are being abducted as runaways, and that's because they don't want a lot of heat. Now, I know where that comes from. I've talked about this on my TV show a lot, because I know a lot of police departments do this, and I'm not trying to talk bad about the police department, because but when it comes to things of this nature, as far as these children, I know that this happened. There are kids that run away, but there are more children being abducted. And a lot of these police departments kind of categorize them as runaways, especially if they are a certain age, because they don't want to send pandemonium within the public. They don't want to have to deal with the questions that the public have about what are you all going to do about these kids being snatched up, because that is what is happening, right? They are being snatched up. So I want to show y'all just this last video, and then we're going to talk about it. But y'all know I tell the truth, right? I'm going to tell the truth.
Gone missing a total of 11 days.
A 15-year-old girl went to a Mavs game with her dad on April 8th. She went to the bathroom right before halftime and never came back.
There were so many safeguards that were supposed to be in place, but didn't work.
Surveillance footage showed her leaving with a man. Zeke Fortenberry, the family's attorney, says that was her first contact with him. On April 18th, Oklahoma City police found her in a hotel room where she'd been advertised and sold.
This girl was being sexually assaulted at a hotel room on multiple nights. So any time that she could have been rescued from that sooner would have been better.
DPD confirmed a report was made to an off-duty officer working the game, but said missing juveniles are considered runaways unless they are kidnapped, and the cases have to be filed where the juvenile lives. In this case, that's North Richland Hills. That department confirmed they received the report she was missing at about 1:27 a.m., about 6 hours after the game started. She was entered into the National Missing Person database about 2 hours later. Fortenberry says the family was tired of waiting and went to a trafficking agency in Houston.
That agency was able to help them locate the photograph of their daughter online within the same day.
That agency contacted Oklahoma City police, who found her and arrested 8 people. Fortenberry says DPD should have done more.
And if it's their policy that they're not supposed to respond to these types of cases, then their policy needs to change.
The family also blames the hotel staff.
When a 40-something-year-old man walks in with a 15-year-old girl and rents multiple hotel rooms, and then there's traffic coming in and out of those rooms, those are red flags.
Last week, they sent letters to everyone they think could have stopped this.
We want them to be aware of what's coming, and we are also asking them to preserve all the evidence as it relates to this case.
In Dallas, I'm Morgan Young.
Okay. That is a prime example of what is going on when this is what's happening every single day, because believe it or not, children like this young lady that was snatched up and put into prostitution are preferred because oftentimes they get more money if they can snatch up children that have never had sexual experiences. The younger they are, unfortunately, the more they sell for, because people are getting sicker and sicker. Y'all, there are like human trafficking rings that actually sit out in parking lots and things of that nature. And they kind of do work for a lot of these people, these foreigners that are out of town that love children, to have, sex with children, or just some sickos, some of your politicians that sit at your state capitol that make laws less stringent for pedophiles because a lot of them like to mess around with children. That is what is going on, and we don't pay close enough attention to that. But they have human trafficking rings where they will say, I want a little girl about 8 years old. I want her to have long hair. I want her to have this feature. I want her to look like this. And believe it or not, you'll have people that sit out in parking lots or grocery stores or different places where they see mothers, especially that have numerous children, go into a store or something like that. And if that child fits the description of what they are being paid to get for this pedophile, then you'll have somebody that'll go in and will distract the mother while they try and snatch up the child, right? And then these people, their children are stolen and taken and put into prostitution at 7, 8, 9 years old, or sold overseas to somebody to be their wife and their sex slave. And these people never see their children again. That's why they reach out to PIs so much, and like I said, that can be extremely expensive when you're dealing with things like that, because the police department is quick to try and put them in the category as runaways when they know that is not true. This problem has to be combated and stopped, and it is getting worse and worse and worse. It's getting worse and worse and worse, Yes, a lot of times, like the organ harvesting thing, that's something I'm gonna talk about too. That oftentimes, yes, when some of these kids are stolen for that, but it mostly has to do with the sex industry, and they're using our children, y'all. So we got to start talking more about that. I haven't talked a whole lot about it, simply because I've been like overworked. But I've had it for a while, a nonprofit organization where I kind of deal with things of that nature, right? Um, it's something I actually started last year. I'm going to start talking more about it, but I'm going to start talking more about it when I get everything organized, right? Because I understand what is going on, and it's been going on for a long time, and I'm very passionate about that. This is one of the reasons why I came back to YouTube, because of all the calls that my um investigative company get as it relates to these missing persons, missing children. I filed a police report, but there's nothing. We need a private investigator, but then they don't necessarily have the funds, which is a sad thing, because it takes a lot of hours, a lot of resources, a lot of the things that we have to utilize, that it takes money. And unfortunately, these parents don't have that, but they're desperate for their children. And a lot of times they are. They are taken to another state at whatever age and put right into prostitution. And I know they know damn well that these kids are 7 and 8 and 9 years old, and it's happening. And it's not talked about. Oftentimes the media will block that out. They don't even want you to know that, but it's happening. Your kids have to be watched at all times. They are putting stuff on the TV to make it popular to be a whore. That's why a lot of these girls are getting into prostitution, because they're putting celebrities in front of us and telling them to promote that stuff, and it's making it popular for these young girls to think, well, I got a money maker, and they getting out there selling their bodies, and they're going missing and ending up dead. It is an agenda. And we get so busy. I get mad. We get so busy with trying to take each other down, just like somebody messing with my videos now. Several of them. But I am here for a reason, that crabs in a barrel mentality, when I'm here to help. Because one person will not have the whole market. Everybody ain't gonna even like it. A lot of them don't like them right now. Some of the ones that's doing it. But it comes from, we all have something different to offer, and like, that is my passion. So that's why I say, I mean, YouTube don't pay my bills, so I can't be stopped, because I'm gonna put the truth out there, because these are things that need to be talked about, and not for just no damn clicks and views. I'm talking about a person that's passionate, that know what's going on, that's got in-depth information about what's going on. Okay. So that's why I say, y'all, I always end it with, there has to be a renewal of the mind, because I always talk about keeping the main thing, because our community is in a state of emergency, and it's easy to do this to our children. You know why? Because they're not going to get the media coverage in the main media as a damn Natalie Hollowell would. They're not going to. So it's easier to snatch up a lot of our children, and we never know anything about it, because they're not going to get the media coverage anyway. And there are a lot of parents suffering. This is happening every single day. And a lot of parents don't know how vulnerable their children are, because they black it out the media. They don't want you to be alert and aware. They want you to keep letting your children listen to the Nicki Minaj's and all of them talking, and Trina's talk about selling ass, so that they can get out there and prostitute, because it's an agenda. And that's why I get so mad at Black men, because they're supposed to be protecting Black women and their daughters. Instead, they're patronizing these prostitutes and promoting it and participating in helping these girls to go missing. Okay. So that's why I say there has to be a renewal of the mind. But if you have not hit the like button, please hit the like button. Thank you all for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you later.